I want to share with you two readings that I've recently shared with individuals. And through those readings, I have been gifted some incredible insight, and I wanted to pass that along and share that with everybody here. The first reading that I gave, it wasn't a pleasant one. It wasn't. Ultimately, it all became very pleasant, but the message that this woman's spirit came through and gave her was difficult for me to deliver. So I sat with this woman who had lost a man. And this man loved this woman very deeply. I'm not going to go into the nature of their relationship, but he did love her very deeply, and she was one of the most precious people in this world for him. He indicated to her that, as spirits do, he checks in on her, watches over her, takes care of her, loves her, everything that he can do from where he's at. And he also let her know that it was an awful experience for him. And this is where it gets tough because this is hard for me to talk about. This man loved this woman so much. And every time this man would check in on her, take care of her, love her, be around her, he would also find that she was in complete misery. Complete misery. Miserable, hating her life, hating herself, hating everything about her, hating everything. Just hate, 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 hate. And she was indeed the worst person in her life. And I think a lot of us can relate to this idea of being our own worst enemy. But when we're our own worst enemy, we're not just our own worst enemy. We're the enemy of the people that our spirits love. So in this situation, this man coming through in spirit was very much like, I love you, I'm there, but you're really hard to be around. You're hard to be around because not only do I love you and you're one of my most favorite people, you are the person in the life of my most favorite person that hurts her the most. And in that moment, she had to be made aware that, the way she was talking to herself, the way that she was thinking about herself, the way that she was moving through life, the pain that she was holding on to was causing pain in the lives of her loved ones in spirit. There are two parts of our life that will cause us pain. We've got the stuff that will happen to us that we have no control over, nothing to do. We don't have any choice in it visiting us. It's going to cause us pain. We do have a lot of choice in the pain that we do feel, though. We aren't going to be able to avoid the grief and the pain that comes from losing our loved ones. But we can avoid the pain and the grief that comes along with blaming ourselves for those loved ones being gone. The Spirit made it very clear to me that it's our obligation, our responsibility, if you will, to choose our loved ones or choose pain. Now, remember that there is pain that we won't have anything to do with. We can't do anything about it. It's going to visit us. But there's all sorts of pain that we can make a choice about dealing with or holding on to. And when we make a choice to hold on to that pain, we are intentionally passing that pain over to our loved ones. We don't know it. We're not taught this. We're not given these examples, but it's something that we all have to take into consideration. If I walk around this world hating myself, beating myself up, then what happens is I give that to my grandmother as she watches me. She's going to watch her grandson be in this life beating himself up while dealing with some incredible pains. That causes her to suffer. Now, on the other side of that reading, later on that afternoon, I had a woman that her spirits were letting her know that she gave them the lottery. That in the world of spirit, there's this idea of winning the lottery, I guess, or I guess it was just an analogy. But her spirits were very, very happy for her, very all about the way she was moving through life, and they indicated to her that she was giving them the lottery. And here's why. That woman recently made the choice not to feel pain. And as she did so, she stopped that pain from rippling out to her loved ones. The situation, as it was this woman had lost her parents. And as she was going through her parents' paperwork and information, she found a really nasty letter to her. And in that moment, she had to deal with the pain of getting this nasty letter from one of her parents. that is the pain of not, you don't have a choice about it. And yet, in front of that, she made the choice of not feeling the next part of that pain. She would have read that letter, read what that parent would have said to her, and then what she did in that moment is something that not a lot of us would do. What she did in that moment is she had grace for herself and she had grace for her parents. She had grace for the parent that wrote her that letter, where that parent was at in that period of time when they did that, what was going on between them. But she also had grace for herself in the way that she didn't want to, she just didn't want to feel that pain. So she wasn't going to get into those mental or emotional processes of self-blame, self-loathing, self-doubt, and all of that because she just didn't want to go through that. But what she didn't realize that she was doing was, as she was minimizing her own pain, she was minimizing the pain in the lives of her loved ones and the existences of her loved ones. With that scenario, I got a really cool image. Now, I want you to imagine, like, in your mind's eye, imagine seeing a town or a city or something like that. And I want you to imagine that in each of these abodes, in each of these homes, if you will, are our spirit families. Now, our spirit families are watching TV. Again, I know this is a little bit of a stretch, but I want to kind of paint to you why I'm going in this way and why Spirit gave me this. In the world of Spirit, there's a community. They're there. Now, they have a limited way to interact with us and watch our lives. So in the image that I got, imagine all of this like towns, rows and rows and rows and rows of these abodes, of these homes. And your spirit family are in these abodes, in these homes, and they're watching TV. Now, the TV that they're watching is you. The TV that they're watching is literally you. Your life, your story, your movie, your everything that you're going through is what your spirits are watching. What kind of show are you giving them? What kind of movie are you giving them? You have a lot of movements, you have a lot of options here in this world to believe certain things, give yourself certain things in your life and all that. This woman's spirits, though, were like, here's an ocean of spirit families, and they're all watching their loved ones. But we won the lottery because when we watch you, we don't have to watch pain. There are families upon families and groups of spirits all throughout the world of spirit who are then looking back on their loved ones here, and they're watching that movie or that show of their life, and they're experiencing pain. And that is an incredible amount of turmoil to really consider. And I give you that because when you make that choice about belief, believing certain things about yourself, your deaths, your losses, all of that, when you start to believe and tell yourself the things that you would want somebody else to tell themselves, you increase your peace, you reduce your suffering. But when you increase your peace, you're increasing the peace of those who love you. What a noble duty. How could we not want to do that? And this is the win-win of all win-wins. When we reduce our own bullshit, we reduce the bullshit of those who love us and those who are watching us. So I want you to lean into that, please. And I want you to do your damnedest to reduce your pain. So as you do, you reduce the pain of those who love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching along. Take care of yourself out there and have a wonderful week.